Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and today let's do some machine embroidery on a medium weight upholstery fabric. Now I am going to make a shoe bag, and I am working today with OESD, and they have a fabulous pattern. It's called Hello Heels, and they also have a pre-made table runner that I'm going to be able to turn into this bag. The table runner is a medium weight upholstery fabric, and it does have a coating on it. So this gives us good opportunity to learn how to sew on that type of fabric and have some fun along the way. I'm going to be making a shoe bag, and I will be using this embroidery file from OESD called Hello Heels. It has 10 great shoe patterns on it that will look fabulous on a bag. To make this project, we use a table runner. The bonus with this is it is weather resistant. Another thing is all of the edges are finished, so we're going to have a nice finish inside of that bag. Now this is a polyester fabric. It's more like a lightweight upholstery fabric. When we look really close, you can really see that those fibers are not really tight together. There's tiny little spaces in between all of these fibers, which means when we are embroidering this, it's a greater chance for that bobbin thread to be pulled up to the top. So what we need to do is put something on the back. And what we're putting on the back is going to be like a lightweight fabric. So it is going to have a better chance of having those threads sit properly in the embroidery. And the stabilizer called Fuse and Woven is great for that. So you can see a thin fabric, and it does have that fusible on the one side. I'm going to press this flat first, and then it is the perfect size for me to just do that whole thing. And that way the bag is going to have that stabilizer or that built-in lining as I'm using it. This table runner is 12 inches by 36 inches, so it's a perfect size when we fold that and put a drawstring in for the bag. So let's stabilize this and get this ready. Now that this has been lined and stabilized, we need to find an area where we are going to do our embroidery. So we're going to need to find that center line. We could just take those edges, match them up, and just do a finger press. The top of the bag is going to be folded down about an inch so that we can put a drawstring in it. So I have my center line and 1 inch from the top. I'm going to do this measurement to the both sides. Now measure down 6.5 inches from that 1 inch mark. Do your center alignment. Now even though I did stabilize the back of this stabilizer is staying on, and it is making that fabric so that we can work on it. So we will need to add another stabilizer to do the embroidery. We could hoop the hoop with a sticky back stabilizer, but in my case I am going to be using a medium weight tearaway. And did you know a seam ripper will cut the stabilizer for us? I'm going to put the stabilizer onto the back of the fabric. So I'm going to just use a temporary spray to hold it on, and that way it won't slip when I go to hoop it. I am going to put my hoop down on a non-slip surface, and I can center that part. Take that table runner, fold it in half, and then just take that top and fold it over a little bit so I can see that line. That gives me the area to line it up lengthwise, but I can also see the width right here, and fold it over. Now I can finish hooping it. I am going to float another stabilizer on the top, and this one will disappear with the heat of the iron. This does a couple of things. It will still help the fabric stay nice and flat and stabilized, but it helps the threads sit on top so they don't sink in as much. So I don't need the whole thing, just enough for that pattern. So my hoop is ready to go. Let's talk about the pattern I'm going to choose. Now there are 10 different patterns or you can buy just the individual patterns. I am going to do this one where it says shoes speak louder than words. There's some fabulous colors that this pattern is stitched with. So I have these all ready, and I'm going to go right to my Bernina and let's start stitching. Before I start any project, I do like to clean the machine and get it ready and put in a new needle. I also will make sure that my center point is right, and I do that testing. I also am going to make sure that the pattern is in the right direction. I personally like to have my bobbin thread up at the top when I start. And what I will do is I will just tug this a little bit just to make sure that it's not caught on anything and it has that good tension. And I do the same thing for the top, just to make sure everything is all set to go. I do start the machine at a very slow speed. Let it stitch for a little bit, and then I go in and I trim off those threads. Then I can continue, and then we can get to work. So for each color change, I know the bobbin is okay, but I would rather trim these off myself. I know the machine can do it, but I like to go slow, trim it off. Now I can keep going. It really is only another couple of seconds, but I don't want the extra thread into the bottom of my project. You can see where this extra stabilizer has kept all of those threads on top, and the satin stitch is beautiful. Now let's take a look at the back. The only thing I really have on the back is that last row of stitching for the words, and I'm going to be able to trim those off from the back. But by pulling all of my colored threads to the top, you can see where that back has a nice finish to it. While the project is still hooped on, I'm going to remove this extra stabilizer, and it's going to come off really easy. Now I can do the second side. Now that both of my sides have been embroidered, I am going to press it. That top stabilizer that I put on that floats, the iron is going to make it just disappear, but it actually has to hit the iron. I'll just take that iron tip and just put it through to the areas where that stabilizer is sitting. The embroidery has turned out beautiful, both of them. And even though this inside is really nice, we can protect this with another fusible. And we can fuse a spot right over top of this. I used pinking shears, I rounded that off. It is nice and soft, and you can see where it's not going to get caught now. We're going to sew this together to make that shoe bag. We need to fold over that top, then we're going to go to the machine and just stitch as close as you can to this folded edge. Do a back stitch on that corner, stitch all the way down, and a back stitch on that second corner. We're going to be able to put in that drawstring after, but we're going to sew these together. So match up the right sides, clipper pin those edges together, and then when you come to this bottom, and then come up and put a clip right at that 2.5 inch mark. You could also just put a pin. So I have a pin 2.5 inches. Then you're going to take this little fold and push it up towards that pin. So you're just pushing this right up and you'll have that little fold. We do want those two folds to match. Clip that down so that fold is tucked inside. We're going to do that to both sides. From here, we just need to do 2 rows of stitching to close off the bag. We're going to start right here where we did that row of stitching. So we're going to have that little flap. We're going to back stitch here, come all the way down and back stitch at the end. You want to stitch just on this side of the seam. So we're all done the sewing. If you'd like, you can press these side seams. You can use a pressing bar or a broom handle. So I take that wooden broom handle and I'll put it in and then press right along that broom handle. Pressing on top of that broomstick handle means nothing else will get wrinkled. Now we get to take this and bring it right side out. And that little tuck we did gives us that boxed corner. Now I'm going to put in my drawstring. So I have 2 pieces, and one will go in this way, so the ends are going to hang out. The other will go in the opposite, so this hangs out. So to do that, we're going to put that one cord in, starting in this hole, go all the way around. We're going to pretend that's closed and continue to come out on the other side. For this side, we're going to start in here, go all the way around, pretend that is closed, and go all the way so the cord's coming out on the other side. So I had each piece at 36 inches. Now I'm going to be able to tie those, and when those 2 ends are done, the bag will be done. So how cute is this bag? It is big, it is sturdy, it is lined, and it is going to fit not 1, but 2 pairs of fabulous shoes. But it clinches up, and this is going to be great for me to travel with. The coating's not only going to keep this bag clean, but it's going to keep my things clean in my luggage. I think I might have to make a few more, and maybe one for my slippers when I travel. Be sure to check the links in the description because OESD has a discount code for you, and I think you might just enjoy it. Thank you for joining me today on So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I do have a newsletter. It's all free under So Very Easy. And be sure to make every day a so-tacular day. Bye for now.